If you're watching this right now, there is a good chance you are not in Mexico, but your kids are. Let's that's it. And your ex is making very difficult for you to see them, to talk to them, to do anything about it. Maybe you have called the police. Maybe someone told you, don't worry, the court will fix this. Maybe you have been waiting for months and nothing has changed. Today, I'm going to tell you exactly how the Mexican legal system works in these situations. I'm going to tell you what you can actually do and, more importantly, what does not work. Because no matter how many times someone tell you it will, not. My name is Javier Quezada. I am a Mexican attorney. I am based in Mérida, Yucatán, and I've been doing this for 10, 15 years. And I work with international parents, Americans, Canadians, Europeans, remotely or by video call. You don't need to be in Mexico to start working in your case. Let me start with the most common mistake I see. A foreign parent, usually American or Canadian, finds out their ex is not letting them see their kids, and the first thing they do is call the police. I understand why. That is what works in the United States or maybe Canada. You have a court order, the police enforce it. Easy. In Mexico, it does not work that way. The police in Mexico do not enforce custody orders the same way. They are not trained for it. In most cases, they will show up and they will listen to both sides and they will leave because they don't want to make a legal decision that is not their job to make. To actually enforce your right in Mexico, you need a specific court order issued by the Mexican family court judge, not from your country, from here. Now, there is an international treaty called the Hague Convention. Some of you have heard of it. Mexico signed it, the US signed it, Canada signed it. The idea is that when a parent takes a child across border without permission, the other country has to cooperate in returning the child. In theory, that is the theory. In practice, and I say this after 15 years of litigation, the speed and the outcome depends entirely on how well the case is presented to a Mexican judge. A treaty alone doesn't move a court. A well-prepared legal file does. Now, there is something else you need to understand. And this is the part most people miss. If there is no existing court order from anywhere, you are starting from zero in Mexico. Doesn't matter if your child is not Mexican. That is important. And every week that passes without legal action makes your case harder. Do not rush now because the law changed because the situation did. Mexican family courts look at stability. They look at who has been the primary caregiver. They look at where the child has been living. The longer your ex has had the children without legal challenge, the stronger their position becomes. And now, um, let me talk through the three most common situations I see. One of these is probably yours. Scenario number one. You have a custody agreement or a divorce order from your home country. That is good. But your ex took your kids to Mexico and they are not coming back. This is what lawyers call international parental abduction. It's some extremes, yes, but legally, that is what it is. The whole convention may apply here if both countries signed it. There is a process through Mexico Foreign Ministry, the Secretaría de Relaciones Exteriores, to request the return of the child. But here's the key: time matters. Every week matters. The whole convention has a 1 year rule. If more than 1 year have passed since the child was taken, the child may be considered settled in the new environment, and the court may decide do not to return them. If you are in this situation, do not wait. Do not wait until you have all the documents perfect. No, no. Do not wait until you have more money. Do not wait until it's summer. Start right now. Scenario number two. You live in Mexico. You have kids here with a Mexican partner. You are separate. And your ex simple doesn't not respect the visitation schedule. So common. Maybe they say the kids are sick. Maybe they just don't answer the door. Pass a lot. Maybe they move. Maybe they took the kids to another city without telling you. And pass a lot. This is handled in Mexican family court. There is a procedure called incumplimiento de régimen de visitas, which is basically a violation of the visitation order. So if you document this violation and file a complaint, a judge can issue warning, fines, and in repeated case, use it as evidence to modify custody in your favor. Um, if the parents who keeps blocking access is building their own case against themselves, you just need to document it correctly. Scenario number three. There is no formal agreement anywhere. Not court order, not writing, custody arrangement, just an understanding between two people. Will be nice sometimes at the beginning, but without maybe a handshake, maybe a WhatsApp conversation, maybe someone say, well, figure it out. In Mexican family court, a verbal agreement is not an agreement. That's not it a surprise. It is a story you're telling a judge with not proof. If there is no formal custody order, your first step is to get one, no negotiation, one, get one from a judge. This can be done by agreement or convenio if both parents are willing to cooperate, or it can be done through litigation if they are not. Most of the time will be litigation, but we're talking about it later. Anyway, the goal is to have something in writing signed by a judge that is legally enforceable. So let's open up. I can say, well, if there are some questions, just let me know. Okay. Question number one, is Mexican court always favor the Mexican parent? Is that true? Um, this is one of the most common thing I hear, and is one of the most damaging minds. Um, Mexican family law use a principle called el interés superior de menor, so whatever is best for the minor. The best interest of the child is not automatically the Mexican parent. And then courts look at who have been the primary caregiver, who provide stability, who maintains consistent contact with the child, who can demonstrate responsibility. That is what matters in these cases. What actually matters in a Mexican court is what you can prove, not what you feel, not what you believe, not what your ex told the kids. Foreign parents can and do win custody cases in Mexico, but they need to be prepared. They need documentation and they need someone in their corner who knows how this court works. Question. Another question. Um, I have a court order from the United States. Does it work in Mexico? Okay. This is an excellent question, and the answer surprised a lot of people. Mm, a foreign court order is not automatically enforceable in Mexico. You cannot walk into a Mexican court with a US order and say, here's enforce this. No. There is a process called executor. This is the legal procedure to have a foreign judgment recognized in Mexico. Without it, a Mexican court can, often will, start its own process completely from scratch. So, and sometimes it's faster started from scratch. That is just a comment. Your US order is not useless, but it's not a magic document in Mexico. It needs to go through a recognition process first. There is another question. So, can my ex take my kids out of Mexico without my permission? That's a really good question. If there is not court order in place, honestly, it is very hard to stop them, especially if they have the passport. Mexican immigration can flag children for traveling restriction, but this is requirement from a court order. You need a judge to issue that. It's called prohibición de salir del país or a travel ban for the minor. It's not fast and sometimes it's hard to get. Once that order exists, your child cannot leave Mexico without both parents' consent. This is one of the first things I recommend to parents in conflict situations before anything escalates. Get a travel restriction in place. Okay, we have another question. I don't speak Spanish. Can I still participate in Mexican court case? Yes, you have the right to an interpreter in Mexican court proceedings. That is established in Mexican law. But I want to be honest with you. Having a lawyer who speaks English, who can explain what is happening at every stage, is not a luxury. It is the difference between understanding your own case and trusting that someone else understands it for you. If your attorney doesn't speak English, you are dependent on a translation or a translator of a process that is already complicated in one language. Would be a good idea have an attorney who speaks good English. So what do you need to start a case? Before I close, I want to give you something practical. Regardless of your specific situation, whether you are in scenario 1 or 2 or 3, here is what you should be getting right now, not next week, just now. First, any documents that prove you are the legal parents, the child birth certificate, a divorce decree, if you have one. And this is something important. It is a Mexican birth certificate or a Mexican marriage certificate, and you don't have one, but you have the names and the day when you get married or when your kid was born, you can get a new one. It's not something complicated like in other countries. You will need any existing custody agreement if there is one, even if it is from another country. That is something good to know and to have. Okay, number 2, your communication with history with your ex, WhatsApp message, email address, especially any message where your ex acknowledge blocking your access or refusing visitations. That message where they say you can see this weekend. Screenshot it, make a screen video is better. Do not delete it. Save it in a cloud. It's safe. If you lost your cell phone or something, just keep that in mind. Number three, a lot of everyday night visit, date time, what happens. Did they not open the door? Did they not answer the phone? Write it down, keep it, and if it's possible, get a witnesses, someone to come with you to pick up the kid. Number four, any video or audio recordings of your child speaking about the situation, asking about you, expressing what they want. These can be useful, but there are a legal limit on how they can be used. Do not share them public. Save them. Keep them for the court, not for Facebook, not for Instagram, not for being a victim on social media. Number fifth, if you have legal resident in Mexico, keep your resident card. Any identification will be good to know and to have if you need to start a legal process. In Mexico, the problem is not always the law. The problem is what you can prove on front of the judge. Documentation is not paperwork. Documentation will be your case. Now, I want to close with something direct. Mm, Sometimes these cases have a deadline. Non-legal deadlines on paper, practical ones. The longer your child lives in a specific situation with one parent, one city, in one school, the harder it is for a court to change it. Mexican judges are training to consider what is stable for the child. Stability is a magic word. In Mexican family law protects whoever already has the child. If your ex has had the kid for 2 years without legal challenge, even if that's because they block you, the judge will ask, why did you wait? This is not fair. It's not it is fair or not, but it's how it works. And if someone told you, don't worry, this thing work on their own, with all due respect to whoever say that, they were wrong. The time to act is now, not when you have more money, not when summer start, not when you feel ready. Now, if your situation involves children in Mexico, my office handles these cases remotely. My, you don't need to be in Mexico to get a start. Um, the first step is the consultation review. We will review your specific situation. We look at your documents and we map out the realistic options, not the optimistic version, the realistic one. Remember, I work with Americans, Canadians, Europeans, and international parents around the world. Contact me through the phone number in the screen. Well, for today, that was what I have to tell you. In this life, if this life was useful, don't forget subscribe it, share it with someone who maybe need it, and leave a question in the comments. I will answer you. I will see you next time in the next video. Have a good day.